Hey guys, good morning. I'm Monique Bradley.
Yes, good morning. I'm Pete Ward.
Welcome to the Dog and Pony Show. We are your fixed communications. We are all about helping business owners and entrepreneurs grow greater impact in the digital world. So welcome to today's show. We have a wicked as topic to share with you guys. And as always, good morning to anybody watching. If you've got any questions at all, please feel free to ask questions. If there's something you don't understand, just go stop. Please explain. It is an interactive live show, and if you're watching this on demand, you're welcome to send questions through as well, and we get back to you in due course.
Absolutely.
So, Pete, today's topic, this is us, by the way, your fixed communications. You can find us on our website. Today's topic is a big one.
It is. It really is.
It's a big, juicy one.
Let's get straight into it. Digital pipeline, what is it and why do you need it?
Such a good topic. I love this. The reason why we decided on this topic is that we hear people all the time going, they'll come to see us and go, oh, what I really need to do is drive people to my pipeline. What does that actually mean?
Cool.
What does that actually mean? What is the sales funnel process like in the digital realm? And what does it all mean, Pete?
It's interesting because it can be quite confusing to people because there's lots and lots and lots of different versions of everything bandied around. For example, you can go online and sign up for a website called ClickFunnels, which is for building your online funnel, and you've got all your triggers and emails and all sorts of things you can put in there. We're going to get into it, but basically a sales funnel or an online funnel and a pipeline are completely different, but they go hand in hand, and that's why we decided we were going to address this, because the thing is, a funnel was very, very, very simple. So but I guess calling yourself Click Pipelines is not quite as cool.
That's right. That's why they use it. They call it Click Funnels.
But I feel that's kind of confused people, with everyone thinking that that's the funnel and it's got all these bits and pieces and this and that and email triggers and all sorts of things. We don't subscribe to that as being a funnel. We definitely would call that a pipeline.
Actually, Pete, shall we reenact a funnel? Shall we show people in real life what an actual funnel is?
Yeah, which one is this?
Shall we do the cheese one?
Yeah,
and we'll show them an example of a funnel that doesn't work.
I wondered about that.
Yeah, I think this is a great example. So a funnel...
Before we do, before we do, I think we should define the difference between the pipeline and the funnel, just so that everyone understands what we're doing. So the difference is that a funnel measures conversion rate of people going through the pipeline. Mm-hmm. And the pipeline is the individual touches or steps or actions that a person has in that pipeline on the journey towards a sale.
Mm-hmm. Sounds pretty complex.
It sounds the same, but not. So one is the touches on the way through of the different aspects, that's your pipeline, and the measurement of the conversion rates as they move through the funnel is the funnel. So you measure whether it's working or not by the conversions you get as people go down the funnel, getting closer and closer to the conversion at the end. But the pipeline, so the funnel goes this way and a pipeline goes kind of this way, and it's got steps along it as you get there and you get to a destination. Okay, so
that's so true.
And we'll go into it in more
We're going to show you what it looks like anyway. So but often when you are in the process of buying something, you go through a funnel process. So a funnel process normally is really wide at the top, and it starts where people in a campaign will share information everywhere. Social media is a great use of funnel strategy. You share content everywhere. The top of a funnel is really wide. Yep. It's a great way to describe it.
Yep. Brand awareness.
Brand awareness is the top of the funnel. The middle of the section, mid-funnel, is where you start to build relationships with people. So you provide content that nurtures people in that process.
It's our engagement.
That's right. And then that leads you to the end of the funnel, which is where you get conversions.
Yep.
However, sometimes when in the real world, not in the virtual world, funnels can go wrong. So if you've ever been to a trade show or you've been into a place that might do food tastings, an example, I'm going to show you an example of a funnel that doesn't work in a real world scenario. I'll just close this computer a little bit so you can see the tray.
Okay.
So imagine we're in a food place where food tastings are going on. Peter's a woman with a tray full of cheese.
I am. Do you like my cheese? Look at my cheese. Would you like to try
Ooh,
some?
That looks really tasty. I'd love to try some. Num 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 num.
Would you want to buy some?
No, I do not. That's an example of a bad sales funnel. So often if you've been in those situations where you have tried food, you've been at a tasting or a sampling, and somebody jumps straight from you to trying that cheese into, do you want to buy some straight away? You're going to jump out of that sales funnel. You're going to feel offended, and you'll probably never buy that cheese ever again because you'll remember that bad sales process.
Or every time you go into that shop, you'll go the other way around
to avoid
and
those
make sure
people.
you avoid them as soon as we see them. We're like,
So, Pete, shall we reenact that? But let's talk about a funnel that works, maybe.
I guess so.
Okay,
so we haven't done this one before.
I know this is a new one.
Okay.
We're improving this morning. So here's me walking through the same place. Oh, what a good day. Oh, yeah. Oh, hi.
Hey, I'm serving cheese today. Would you like to try some?
Oh, I'd love to try some cheese. I love cheese, actually.
Cool.
Oh.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
Oh God, it's really nice. It's got a bit of a bite to it. What sort of wine would I serve that one with?
Oh, I would probably use a white, maybe a Pinot Gris with that because you want to. But I'll tell you what, this one over here, you'd probably a Chardonnay. I think would go better with that one. It's got a little bit more apricot.
Well, can I try that one?
Yeah. Do you like apricot?
Yeah. I love apricot.
Okay, we'll try the apricot.
Oh, that's lovely, actually.
Yeah, look. That's my personal favourite.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have the other one as well. It's just.
What's this one?
Well, okay, this one is a special one because it's made out of bull's cheese.
Bull's cheese. I haven't tried that before.
Ooh.
Can I try that?
Yeah, sure. Do you like bull's cheese?
Oh, it's quite pungent. It's quite strong. It's got a bit of a bite. Look, I really like that.
Yeah. Look, they're on special today. Just there. Let me know if you.
Oh, actually, yeah, I will grab some. Some.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
brilliant.
Oh,
Thank
great.
you.
You want the bull's cheese?
I want the
don't you?
bull's cheese.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
So why that worked is that the cheese lady took time to engage.
Yep.
So over that process of sharing added value, which is what wine that would work with, by making a connection, I had a higher conversion rate basically, and I was more likely to buy the cheese.
Sale is easy once you've engaged people. So that's your sales funnel, right? So you're dealing with brand awareness, engagement, and then conversion. Okay, don't jump straight to conversion. Pipeline is exactly the same. Do we want to bring up one of our?
Yeah, let's show
screens?
that the difference between the pipeline and the funnel. So a lot of people, when they come to talk to us and they go, I need to drive sales now. We understand that. However, there is a real difference, as Pete mentioned earlier, between a pipeline and a funnel. So a funnel is normally 3 key steps to get to a conversion.
Yep.
And you just need to know those steps to get there and how you're going to do it. However, let's look at the difference between the pipeline. And Pete, do you want to read that screen?
Well, a sales pipeline reflects what a seller does during the sales process, or flipped around, what a customer goes through on your process if you're the seller to get to the end of the sale. The sales funnel measures the conversion rates through this sales process. So as we're saying, the funnel's going downwards, getting smaller and smaller because you are losing people on the way through of a funnel because you've got, that's what you're doing there. But your pipeline is that journey through. Now, Monique, you've got a really, really good way of describing what a pipeline journey is.
Yeah, a pipeline journey, like you can see the images. There's a million different alternatives in a pipeline, and probably you can see there's lots of different outcomes. I see a sales funnel pipeline more like a choose your own adventure story. And let me explain. So in a sales pipeline, you might have several versions of the same outcome, which is for people to get in touch with you. So let's talk about us as an example. People get in touch with us to tidy up their infrastructure. They get in touch with us to do their advertising for them. They get in touch with us to do their marketing for them. They get in touch with us to manage their social media, or they get in touch with us to do their video content. So we've got 5 key outcomes. However, the whole core concept is people get in touch with us. The way they get there every single user journey is kind of different, just like a choose your own adventure. So while in a choose your own adventure story, if you think of the outcome, there's usually at least 3 to 5 different endings to a story, but it's all the same. The story ends. To get to that journey, there are a number of anomalies or steps that you can take to get there. And a sales pipeline is really an experiment in understanding human behavior, in that you have to understand every step it's going to take to get somebody to that outcome. So it might sound a little bit of complex, but let me explain a little bit further. You know how there's that whole methodology of building a mailing list as an example, and people say all you need to do is make a PDF about your top 5 tips on this or that, load it into your website, use social media to drive people to download that PDF. That's great. But what if you don't get people to download that PDF because the content that you've used in that social media campaign to drive them there still doesn't trigger that moment of interest where they have to go and download that PDF? You have to understand the behavior that's going to create desire to get them to download the PDF in the first place. And the PDF is only one step in the sales pipeline. So you have to understand from that PDF, what next? Just like a choose your own adventure story. Is the next option to send them a remarketing email saying, hey, thanks for downloading that PDF. If you want to take the next step, get in touch. Well, that's one option.
Yep.
The next step might be, hey, we noticed you downloaded that PDF, but you haven't read it. Is there anything we can help with? If so, get in touch. So there's a number of different options when it comes to creating a pipeline. And it's quite a big undertaking. As Pete said, and if you've just joined us, a sales process is kind of like the strategy of how you want people to get from one destination to a conversion. However, the pipeline is the infrastructure or the intricate dance or architecture that incorporates all these elements of human behavior to drive them to your desired outcome. Look at the difference between those images.
Yes.
They are vastly different.
I just want to point out the one on this on the right hand side there, the funnel. It's important to remember that the sales funnel always usually has one outcome. You're trying to get one thing. If you're trying to do too many things, you're going to confuse people. So you've got one thing. So it might be a download of a website. It might be a single product that you're selling. Sign up for your course. There's always just one thing. Whereas the pipeline is going to lead, as Monique said, to various different outcomes along the way. And you know, it's a journey. It's the buyer journey around, bouncing around inside your funnel, if you want to put it that way, you know. So it's keeping them separate and understanding that you need them both working for you at the same time.
I would absolutely agree, Pete. And like I've said, I've been on a few calls this week where I've actually talked about social media marketing as an example. Social media marketing is not about the infrastructure. It's actually an experiment in human behavior, understanding psychology and sociology to understand what your ideal client needs. And in fact, when you're creating a pipeline or a sales funnel, start out by understanding the value that you give and see if that's a match with your ideal clients and what they need. And if it's not, re-engineer what you're offering.
Yep.
And make that something that your ideal client needs that you can give. And Pete said there's a really interesting way for him that he suggests that if you are wanting to create a sales funnel, because there's lots of websites you can use to create pipelines, right?
Yep.
Like ClickFunnels.
Yep.
Lots of people have heard of that.
Yep.
But often when especially if you're not technologically savvy, as most people aren't, they're jumping into this sort of realm all of a sudden and they're having to do all these things. If you can't do that, are there other options, Pete?
Well, the way I like to do it is Post-it notes. Very simple. And a wall. So get your Post-it notes. You can even use different colours so you know what's going on. And literally write out every step that's going on and put it on the wall. And then try to step it through. So it's going to be linear. That's why it's a pipe. So it's not all over. Although, like Monique said, it can go different journeys and lots of different bends and split offs and join back on. Okay, but it's linear. The journey that the person takes is going to go round. It's like a marble in one of those.
Oh, marble
beautiful.
shoot.
Have you seen them drawn in the sand? They're in the sand and they videoed the whole thing, and you've got a set of marbles racing through, and you've got split offs there, and they join back in. It's exactly that.
That's a great description,
It
actually.
is. So get these, write down every single thing. So, send a follow-up email, boom, and it goes there. Get another one, made a phone call, boom, outcome of the phone call, they were interested, sent them a video to watch, boom. In fact, we were talking with, people yesterday who were sending people to a course, and people got to the course and they didn't realise what they were signing up for. So what they did is they put another step in the middle, so they've got a pre-qualifying video, which is very, really clever, so that basically they're sending them to the pre-qualifying video first. Then if they're interested in continuing to the course, then absolutely they'll click through. But if they're not, then you've just got to accept it. Sometimes the people don't want what
you're offering.
They ain't picking up what you're putting down.
That's true.
Which I guess leads us on to how you want to deal with this. We've come up with our little 3 Ps. I know there's all sorts of various things. There's 4 Ps of sales and all sorts of things like that. But we've got our little 3 Ps to help you today. So as you can see, they are basically a linear process, 1, 2, and 3. So the pipeline is actually number 3. And what happens is often people come to us and go, yep, look, we want to get us out there. Great. Okay, we can do that. We can get you everywhere. So we start doing that, and then they go, I need more sales. And then we have a look at their website and we go, well, where are they going to drive the sales? And they're like, yeah, good point. So we've got our 3 Ps here. Monique, you want to explain?
Yeah, I will. So before you can even start driving sales via your pipeline, you actually have to come up with a plan. A sales funnel is a plan. It's a strategy. And with the plan that we work with clients, we start off first of all by establishing a really clear strategy. And as part of that strategy, we really isolate what the value is that you have as a business and the value that you give to your clients to make their life better. People buy when a client or a product or a service makes their lives better. Whether it's easier, faster, fitter, healthier, whatever the outcome is, it's all about how you can make a change in someone's life. The next thing we do as part of that plan is create a timeline. And it's really important that you set a timeline, because if you do not set some timelines or some lines in the sand of when the stuff's going to happen, it never will. I'm really straight up about that. And then finally, it's really important, as Pete's just said, even with a pipeline, to make sure you have everything mapped out. You've got to make sure that your website, that your messaging in your website is right. You need to have strategies for your social media. So once you're going to launch, say, a product, you need to make sure you know how that product is going to roll out to market. That's before you even build any infrastructure. So that's just the plan. The reason why you do that is that everybody in your team and your family and your business and your life and your web developer knows what's going on. So that's the first step of the journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next step that happens is the platform. So once you've got everything clear, sorry, Pete, you want to add something to that?
No, not to that one. I was ready for the platform, so that's perfect. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the platform. It's extremely important. We do quite a lot of work around this side of it all. It's as we're saying, it's really good to note that you're still not at the stage where you can start the pipeline yet. Driving people, because you've got to have somewhere solid to drive them to. And I have a theory called the boat theory, and we will be going into that on one of our business podcasts, the boat theory. Basically, your website is like your boat, and you are fishing, and you're fishing for your clients, and you're using social media are the places that the fish swim and live and eat.
Yes.
And you're trying to use bait, so you're going to use different bait for different fish, or same bait for different fish. You've got to think like a fish and work out how to drag people basically into your boat. You've got to hook them.
That's an example of a really simple strategy, and it's kind of the core of everything that we do, in fact. So we start with that plan first of all. And it's really important. We document that. Even in our own business, we've done exactly the same. The next step, as Pete said, is the platform. And it's really important when you're doing your planning to really understand what your outcome is that you want with your boat or your website. So you need to understand in advance, because there's nothing worse for a web developer to find out at the very last minute that their blog site needs to be an e-commerce site. So it's important to know in advance, is it going to be an e-commerce site? Is it going to be an online learning platform? Is it just going to be a blog site? How are you going to make money on that platform? The next thing you need to understand is what sort of content you're going to have on that platform, because people need to understand, as it says there, what you do and what you offer, but also it needs to be interesting. And you need to think about the user experience. And when I'm talking about user experience, it needs to be mobile friendly first. And there's a couple of reasons, Pete, if you want to jump back to the studio, there's a couple of reasons why it needs to be mobile friendly first. Pete, do you want to delve into that a little deeper?
Well, the main one is your search rankings on Google. Google starts mobile first. Everything that Google now does when looking through your website, examining you from top to toe, is all about what it looks like on mobile and how fast it is on mobile first, and whether it works. So if you're looking at it on your phone and the stuff is going off the screen or bunches up or the pictures don't show right, fix them up first. So 100%. Go there, definitely.
And from the user experience side of it, when we look at human behavior online, which is really, I'm not technically minded in the slightest, so I really study the human behavior side of what digital marketing is really about. And I'm looking at how many people are searching on for websites or making searches using their phone.
Yeah,
and the numbers are staggering. People are less likely to be using the computers. They are on their phone making those searches because they want the information now. They've always got a phone in their pocket, in their hand, in their handbag. So your phone is the best advertising billboard. So make sure that your website is mobile compatible first. Really, really important. So that's about the user experience side. Make sure buttons show up easily. Make sure the information is easy to access. So that's just the second stage before you even get to build the pipeline. And the third stage is, of course, the pipeline.
Now we can get into it.
Yeah, and this is what we really love to help people with. Advertising, digital advertising, video advertising forms a part of the strategy around pipeline. So the three things that we really look at under the pipeline are, I specialize in trying to generate organic leads for people. So social media, making sure the beta's right in social media to drive people to websites, to drive people to find out more about brands, to encourage engagement, things like that. Pete's a specialist in the paid traffic. So do you want to talk a little bit about Facebook advertising and Google and how that works for the pipeline process?
Sure do. So basically, once you've got to this stage, you've got somewhere to drive people. Now you can actually start driving them, and one of the best ways to do it is to make sure that as you were going through the process of setting the platform up, that you used Google Tag Manager, and which is the enterprise kind of, you've heard of Google Analytics. Well, this incorporates Google Analytics, but the Tag Manager adds all sorts of conversion tags and any kind of tag into your website so that you can track it. And of course, you may have heard of the Facebook pixel as well. You need the pixel in there, which is also Facebook's way of tracking everything you do. I know it sounds very big brotherish, but you need them. You need them in there as a business owner. Yeah. You must have them. So
it's like utilizing a superpower for good.
Absolutely. So what you can do there is then you can set up campaigns which specifically target people that have taken action on your website. So for example, if you've got an e-commerce website and you've had people add to cart and then abandon the cart, right? You don't let them off the hook. You can set up a campaign specifically to target just those people who added to cart and abandoned, and say, hey, we saw you were going to look at some stuff that we had to sell. Can we give you an extra little nudge? We'll give you a little bonus offer if you come back and finish off your order. And it only targets those people. It doesn't target anybody else. It's so really, really clever. You can do that. Or you can target people who actually purchased, and you can send them a little thank you, little ad that turns back up in their thing going, hey, we saw that you purchased one of our items.
We
Here's
want
an
to
extra
offer you
little
discounts.
Yeah, or if you sign up for our membership now, you can get 10% discount in the future.
Yeah.
Anything, you can do anything. Once you've got that data being tracked, you can track anyone. You can track people who just came to your website and bounced straight away.
I've got some examples as
Yeah,
well.
go.
Websites that are doing it really well. I use Thin Lizzy face powder. And the other day I put something in the cart and then I abandoned cart, and I had an email reminder saying, hey, we noticed you put this in the cart. So, and you know, they'll often give me an extra discount, which is great. I got a really cool special offer. Cotton On does it. There was another one that I've just been to recently and they did the same thing. I thought, I've forgotten the name of it. But yeah, a lot of Glassons does it.
Yep.
And often if you've been to the Glassons website and you've had a look around, then you'll notice their Facebook advertising will pop up in your Facebook timeline. That's just an example of strategies working within the pipeline. It's all one outcome. They want you to buy something. So the choose your own adventure, like I said, which is a pipeline, has one outcome. It's a conversion of some sort. And usually it's a buy now, book a service. It's always the same for every organization. However, the strategies to get there, as you can see on the left-hand side in that pipeline image, there's lots of different twists and turns to get there. That's actually what a pipeline is. The funnel is the overarching strategy and how you measure that conversion. And it's really important to understand that difference.
Fantastic. That's a good way of summing it up. That was
thanks,
good.
Pete.
Yeah, that's great. So there you go. You need these 3 Ps.
You need your 3 Ps.
Lots of Ps.
Plan, platform, pipeline. So if you're thinking you need to drive sales now, but you know your website's a bit broken, fix that first.
Absolutely.
And if you're really stuck, I mean, obviously, this is part of our sales pipeline as well.
Yep.
You know, there's an elephant in the room. I've just called it. And the reality is we are here to help. So if you are really stuck, if you keep flogging cheese, and if you don't know what I'm referring to, zoom backwards in this broadcast and watch earlier on. If you want to know how all the intricacies of how to turn somebody who might be on your social media page into a paying client, that's what you need to do. You need to get in touch with us and we can help you do that.
I can throw you an email.
Send me an email. This is this is our website. Your Fix Communications, and really, like I said, this whole exercise about driving sales is an exercise in understanding human behavior, put together, tied up with all the infrastructure to make that work. I don't expect you to understand how that infrastructure works. What I need you to understand is what you want as a desired outcome and how you make people's lives better, and then we'll match them together.
Totally. So there you go.
There you go. I am Monique Bradley.
And I am Pete Ward. This is Dog and Pony Show, a business podcast. Nay, nay, woof, woof. We're not quite sure who is the dog and who's the pony. In case you didn't know where that came from, that used to be a circus act where the pony would run around in the circus tent and the little dog would sit on the back and amuse everybody.
Yeah, and it was all about creating attraction. That's what the Dog and Pony Show was all about. And that's what we're really here to do, help you grow greater impact in the digital world through all sorts of techniques and tactics to create attraction.
That's right.
Time for us to go, guys. Hey, thanks so much. If this has resonated with you, if you need help, get in touch, share this broadcast, because we really want to help people understand all of the mystery behind digital marketing, media, and how to get yourself out there.
Absolutely. Cool.
Cool.
Okay.
Hey, we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Be kind to one another.
Be safe.
Bye.